we're gonna start.
Yeah, let's kick it off.
We don't use the action one, right? We bought it for no reason. The action. Okay. All right, guys. So we're excited to have with us Zeke. Zeke has a very interesting story. Not just a cool, good-looking guy. He's also a quarterback.
Was a quarterback.
Right? And today, a very successful entrepreneur, 8-figure business. And we're going to hear his story. Scott, obviously, with us. The man.
Man, I know Zeke already. So I'm not. I think I'm gonna let you dig in and ask all the questions. I know his shit.
Yeah, I know. So when I read your, I read from your podcast,
and then I sent them the video you put out too.
Okay, I did not see the video. I did not see the video.
It was a good video. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, it was a good video. We'll watch it after.
Miss? Okay.
You'll let everything we're gonna talk about you missed.
Well, I read. I read the documents you gave me. You have Google Docs, so I wanted to be.
Reader. That's nice.
Usually I watch. I don't like if there's something I can watch or summarize or audio. I'll do that.
I'm like, I have to watch.
Yeah. So you're basically selling people a business right now.
Yeah.
That tells them, look, you want to sell on Amazon, but you don't need the hassle and customer service. I got you. Just pay me 30, 40. How much you charge people?
So we charge 40 grand.
40 grand.
40,000, and then we have a higher package, which is 65,000, which really is just a different profit split. Mm-hmm. We've had a lot of people who are like, how can we make more, right?
Yeah.
In terms of the model, obviously we're going to scale it over time, but there's really nothing, other than I'm going to make a little bit more up front because I'm giving more of my back end away. We've done that as well. But, you've been in the e-commerce space, obviously, and it's just like the market's crazy, right? And so we're really looking for brands. Like, that's what we're really looking for.
The right products.
The right products.
It's all about the products, absolutely.
And so, we've heard all these horror stories about drop shipping and all these Amazon automation companies. And for us, we just saw e-commerce as a whole as this is gonna be around for a long time, and if companies don't have an e-commerce platform, chances are they're gonna lag behind. And so we're really just trying to focus right now on building the relationships with the brands. We know our clients are happy. We don't really market selling businesses anymore because a lot of our business will come through word of mouth. We don't really run ads on it or anything anymore, just because we really like to focus on the relationships. The one thing I've learned through it is I love working with good people, right? So when you work with the right people versus trying to work with everybody, we've just seen kind of that partnership form, which is what we really want. We want partnerships. We want people to understand we're busting our ass to make this work, and it's hard.
Give me an example of a person, because I think a lot of the listeners would kind of say, okay, can I make money with this guy? So it's if a guy goes and gives you some cash, okay, and you go in, how long does it take them to actually turn profit?
Yeah, obviously this is not a get rich quick. It's not going to happen overnight. And if you want to see more in terms of revenue and returns, you got to be able to put more money into the business, right? Our upfront costs are really just, we're building the business. We're putting the people in place. We have the infrastructure. We have the fulfillment. We have the team. We have everything that's in place in order for the stores to be managed and run. Mm-hmm. So for us, I think it's
But a quick answer, if you had to kind of give, if someone tell you, look, what's my ROI on this one?
You have 6 months. You have.
I would say conservatively 12 to 18 months.
12 to, okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's
12
fair.
to 18 months.
That's actually not that bad.
Imagine you're buying an apartment to rent and make money on it.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, if it takes you 10 years to pay for the apartment.
Or if you buy a business, if you buy a cash flowing business.
Business is a business. You can always sell the business after.
It's also not going to be.
And a lot of our
months.
clients they're just middle class people, right? That have either had really good credit and we've been able to fund their business, or they have some equity that they're I don't really have the money to get a loan for a house, but I want to make some passive income. We have all different types of clients, but our the majority of our clientele is middle class people that are really only leveraging $5,000 to $10,000 a month, and they're making a couple, $1,500, $2,000 a month conservatively, right? And then we have the client that's has the ability to scale, and they're seeing five figures a month, and obviously on.
So now you didn't get into it right away, right? It was first you were the Amazon seller for yourself. You kept looking for goods, and you mentioned it's all about the product, right? Yeah. And I can totally relate. Every time I owned 2 companies in the past. One was a wholesale liquidation, and I had a bunch of Amazon sellers buying from me. Let me turn off my phone. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, okay. But the second one was Boxycharm, and it was really about the product. I mean, you can have the best marketing and all that, but it doesn't really make sense if you don't have the right product.
Right.
But the second part is, so you're doing that, and eventually you said, look, I can scale this and I can sell it to people. My first thing I'm going to tell you is that you're selling a business. Now it's a whole different, now it's a B2B instead of a B2C. Why did you switch?
I enjoy helping people.
Okay.
Like for me, it was like, I saw, especially when the pandemic hit, right? When the pandemic hit, several of our clients had stores. This was right when we were really transitioning. Like we were like, let's acquire some warehouses, let's get space, let's get some of the infrastructure in place to scale.
Did you see more money on the second business than the B2B instead of just dealing with clients every time?
Yeah, I mean, the ability to scale was like, so, you're leveraging the client's ability, capital to be able to scale the business as a whole, right? And so for us, it was like, you could go straight to the bank, right, and try to get X amount of money for this, or you could use it from a B2B standpoint where it's like we can not only help the person, but build a business long term for them. Like,
it's kind of cool because you get the cash up front, you secure yourself. It's a short exit for your revenue, right? And then you still get upside in the future. And I know that I have some friends that run Wi-Fi money, and they have the same thing. And they told me, look, we found out that eventually Amazon's going to cap your store. It's not going to let you sell the same product that much. They want to diversify with different vendors. Exactly. So we're like, okay, we can own all of those. So we want you to have the LLC. We want you to have all that. And then we can just manage that for you.
Exactly. Well, and then it's like, obviously Amazon's very strict. Like their policy, they really only want one person to have one store.
Yeah.
And so that's where we were like,
what do you mean by that?
Like so they only technically want one individual to have a store, right? It was meant for individual sellers, and then obviously people are coming in like as businesses, like we want to take it. So originally it was like just going to be an eBay type thing. I don't think they ever really thought it was, and then it became so much more.
Today, private equities are buying Amazon business,
exactly,
like any other business.
Yeah,
they're saying, okay, there's no more because they'll ask you when you run a business. When I was trying to sell Boxycharm, at that time, the first thing that investment bankers tell you, okay, tell us, is that Amazon proof? It's a thing. Mm-hmm. So they said, okay, well, obviously you are selling within that ecosystem, you are proof because you're Amazon proof. Well, unless they decide to compete with you directly within their own ecosystem. But it's been a shift from Amazon from trying to compete with their own vendors to kind of like, you know what, screw that, let them beat them and they're going to do it better. And if you sell it within the same ecosystem. So today you'll find private equities investing in real estate, just like regular rent, buying in, and then Amazon storage, they're going into the lower end tier. So
do you run into issues when a business spins up, when a true business is opposed to an individual selling? Do you run into issues with Amazon? Like what's the current state of Amazon TOS in terms of how to set up a store, what you can and can't do?
No, I think Amazon just wants good sellers. They ultimately they don't need more sellers. They want good sellers, like people that are going to ultimately represent them in a good sense, right? They want good customer service. They want timely, shippings, X, Y, and Z, and ultimately good products. Like it would be very easy to go find some cheap, shitty Chinese product. That's it's like this isn't what I ordered, right? Like we're really trying to find again, it comes back to the product, good products that people are going to come back to buy. And not necessarily products that are like here and there. Like we're really trying to capitalize on some relationships, like some really big companies that I can't say the names of right now, but that would really put us over the edge in terms of what we're allowed to sell, right?
Mm-hmm. That currently are not that well, like they're not these companies you're looking at.
Some of them are very well known, and
but they're well known, but they don't have a lot of representation on Amazon. With
some of these do. Some of these are like products that are used in our everyday lives, and that's what we really are trying to focus on right now. Is like,
how many SKUs do you guys have?
Thousands,
20,000.
No, but I mean, what is the process for somebody who say like a Procter and Gamble product? Okay, that's a household name. I want to take that onto Amazon. Like, how do you have those relationships versus somebody starting out?
Do you have those relationships?
We're getting there, right? We're getting there. And now that we're starting to do the numbers, it's like you can have those conversations with people like, okay, well, you have 200 and something stores that are doing X amount of dollars every month. Like, okay, it makes sense. If you're coming in with $1 million a month of purchase orders, like, we would entertain it, right?
Yeah, okay.
So now we're at that point where we can start making some of them offers and we're...
As long as you show them you control the price.
Right.
Meaning you say, listen, tell me what the price... and I can tell you that there's just a lot of bureaucracy when to go into the big whales.
Yeah.
It is not easy.
No.
They need to go and make sense. They need to control everything. Just so many people have to make that decision.
Yeah.
And the reason it doesn't always come through, it's because you need, say, the CFO to agree on one thing, and then
Right.
and everyone sits down in a room, and everyone wants to sound smart. So if everyone said yes, someone has to say no just to sound smart. It's okay. We'll push it for next quarter meeting.
Yeah.
And you have that problem. I am here selling your product. I'm taking your POs just like any other store. I have a chain of stores. You don't need to worry about the fact that each one is a different LLC, but that's how my new business model is, and that is going to be in the future there. So the ones that are going to try harder, that's going to enter sooner, needs to lock it down with exclusivity so they don't sell to your competition.
Right. And we go to trade shows all the time. Like that's another where we're going to try to find
ASD show and
we're going to Vegas in like 2 weeks for a big show. We just went to like a big cosmetic show just like 2 weeks ago.
Cosmoprof?
I don't remember what the name of it was. It was so boring to me. Like it was
horrible.
It was so not interesting. Yeah. But that's kind of what it is. It's just like mingling, shaking hands, being personable, and ultimately being like, look, this is what I do. And then getting them to take you serious, right? Like getting them to be like, you're not just some dude selling on Amazon. Like,
you look like a football player, and why are you thinking that I'm going to take that?
but there's a lot of like good brands and good products out there that aren't like, they're not even really big yet, you know? And that's kind of like, we're trying to form something. We just like go to these trade shows and try to find some of these products that's like, maybe you hit a home run, maybe you don't, you know, but some of them you got to be willing to take the chance on. So now we're at the point where like, even as a company, liquidity wise, we're starting to be able to get some of the prices that we want on some of these things just based on, you know, the orders. And then again, it comes down to SKUs, right? The more SKUs you're able to get, and then ultimately like you can get a SKU, but like, is it going to sell, right? Like, is it going to be bought? And you know, so
that's the true value add that you give the people that sign up with you. Like you're getting relationships they would never have access to. So when you look at somebody who's selling a business, you always have to answer the question, like, why would that person not just do it themselves? So there's things that person could do immediately. I mean, they can set up an Amazon store, they can start selling, but there's things that the volume that you have access to, it would totally gate somebody who's starting out from ever doing it at the level or with the products that you're doing.
Yeah, basically. I mean, anybody can do it themselves.
Yeah.
Like it's
what's your gross revenue like last year?
We did about, I'd say just shy of 17 million last year.
Okay, and 2020?
2020 was like 12.
Okay.
Between 10 and 12.
And
19, we were doing a whole different method in 19. We were doing the drop shipping thing in 19.
Okay, so what was it then?
It was like it was so inconsistent. Like I only had probably 40 stores.
So if I tell you that right now you take your 17 million a year and you go to a private equity and you say, look, do you want to come in with me? They'll look at your business and they say, what's your EBITDA? And they'll say, all right, 17 million. That was around what I was kind of like doing when I saw. Okay, your business looks to us like 26 million a year. I'm just throwing a number. We'll give you 12 million to your pocket. You'll keep 30, like whatever percentage that comes out of it, and we might put a couple million more on the balance sheet. So we're gonna have, say, 60% of the business, but 3 more million for operating capital, 12 to your pocket, and that's how. So that's phase one.
Yeah.
If you keep growing it, you might go into a $50 million valuation, so on, and that's the ideal way for you to go in and really cash out sooner.
Yeah.
Right? Not waiting until it's 100 million, because you're going to have a lot of yous doing the same thing. Because I see, just in Miami, I have 2 friends that are doing the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Like we're going to bring Kevin on and they're doing something like, there's another. So there's just so much space to make it. It's a formula. Do you have a warehouse? Do you guys store all the...
But I want to get back to that point, because you said, it's nice if you have 17 million top line and then you have, you have your multiple on EBITDA, and then you have your EBITDA, then you have your multiple on that, and that will give you valuation. But for you personally, do you want to build this as a business you want to exit, or you want to build this as like a nice cash flowing lifestyle? I love to like get into people's minds.
I'll be honest, we're at the point right now where we're starting to have that conversation. Like we have to start looking this way, right? Because everybody, you want to exit, right? And you want to exit.
I don't know. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like, you do. I mean,
if you get,
I don't know. You tell us.
10 years, I mean, of course you do. I mean, in a way,
right?
Look,
but look at you. Look, you exited. And now you're looking to do other stuff.
Yeah, but
you have that.
I'm not saying there's a right way or a wrong way.
The thing is, you sell something by the end of the day. You sell a product and you sell a business.
Yeah.
Business is a product.
Yeah.
And you ask yourself, okay, do I want to have a big payday for the next 10 years on this valuation with a little bit much more tax efficient because of the capital gain versus ordinary income? Why not? Yeah. And can you do something else later? Now, when you sell a piece of it, you don't really sell it completely like that. It's you de-risk yourself, right? So you're saying, well, I will secure 10 million in my bank account, so I no longer have to worry about money at that point. It's like now in the next phases, unless I come out with 100, I'm not selling. So
now you go bigger next time.
Yeah, so you keep a piece, you take it to a next level, and so on. Right now, there aren't too many of you doing what you're doing, but it's a business that's going to be sold. Yeah. You can go and look at the future and say,
this has got me over here scratching my head.
It's exciting.
No, it's good. And the only reason, and I also want to just like, if you go back into your history, I also think it has to do with this, where you think you can scale the business too. Mm-hmm. So if you were in liquidity and merchandising and what? Yeah. So if you thought you could scale that, you probably wouldn't have exited when you did.
But I wasn't able to scale without having some people around me, and then having that cash in the bank, knowing that on a really raining day, I'm still operating very.
But Boxycharm as well. It was right time, right place. You didn't take it to IPO. You exited. You could have taken it to IPO, but you saw the sign, saw the writing on the wall. You're like, this is a good time. So when you look at your industry, when you look at Amazon, Ecomm is probably getting hit pretty hard in the recession, but it's not like it's
Amazon
not going
to. You feel it on your end?
I mean,
or are more people trying to go to Amazon?
No, because I feel like no. Honestly, our numbers, no. I think we went through a period where it was tough with shipping and all that was kind of like it kind of made the chain
supply chain.
Yeah, the supply chain was just kind of not right. We had to like be selective, but we're not really seeing that anymore.
I'll tell you why he doesn't also see it, because he's not affected by the iOS 14. He's already in Amazon. He has a different ecosystem.
I'm talking about the people that purchase stores from him. I mean, your customers could be hit.
But that's organic, isn't it?
Yeah, in terms of like, no, because here's the thing: people are afraid to buy real estate right now too. Like, you know what I mean? So
this is a cash flow.
Like they
business.
are. People are afraid. People are afraid to sell because what are you going to buy? You're going to buy. You sell and you're going to have to go buy something.
Yeah.
So I think people are. I'll buy. I don't care. But it's like people are like they don't. Right now.
Are you promoting yourself on a paid or say paid search, or are you doing it just organic and just?
Right now it's organic. Like we did. Yeah. I mean, organically, like.
Organic stems from keyword search terms, and the volume could decrease.
No. If you do paid, on paid, you pay every click and you get the wrong clicks. When it's organic, it's much easier for the algorithm to go and give you the right traffic. Nothing is paid. So if someone is just searching something and he sees people talking about this organically on stories,
like set up Amazon store would be a keyword, a long tail keyword search term.
I haven't seen Wi-Fi doing any paid. They've done everything organic.
I don't even know what Wi-Fi. What are you talking?
There are another guys over here. It's the same exact thing, right? You know those guys?
Yeah, but I don't know if they're doing what we're doing. Like there's so many people
similar.
It's similar. It's all
explain what they are. Explain what they are so people understand.
It's the same thing. They sell you a store on Amazon for $40,000.
Oh, okay. It's just called Wi-Fi.
Thing.
Okay.
But what they'll do is they go organically and they show how much money they're making. You want to make money, come here, click here, and all that stuff.
Okay.
That's pretty much the idea. And people are there and they're making money, and I know people that are doing good with them. So it's a thing that works, right? And the idea was that whenever I understood what you're doing, I said, okay, I see what it is. You cannot go and have one store selling, say, a cookware that's non-branded cookware and just scale so much. But everybody find that, oh, you know what? If I had 2 or 3 stores, each one get a new prioritization after a while. So, okay, how do I get more? Well, it has to be someone else. I can create so many LLCs on my name. Yeah, exactly. They find out, okay, let's get other people. Oh, you know what? Let's let them pay for it. And then is the formula.
They'll get shut down. Like if you have stores that are linked together, they'll get shut down, And a lot of these people, like, they don't even know what to do when that happens, For a while, people were taking money and they were sending it. They're getting these people in India to like run the back into these stores, and they were trying to drop ship. Right, drop shipping was really good. Like 2016, 2017, like it was very easy to get away.
It wasn't.
And then Amazon like started restricted because, I don't know. I think they were getting cut out. They were getting, a lot of. they were getting cut out. Like that's what
The
it
hard
was.
part
Like,
the hard part that you did is you needed to know what to sell.
exactly.
This is the hardest part. So, and then the second part is systemizing it, making sure that the quality of the experience is going to be at the right quality. Yeah. You store the right merchandise, you know what to sell, you take the risk. Okay, someone else doesn't want to do it. Like, I'll give you the money, I'll do revenue split, whichever it is. I am going to turn profit.
Our clients don't care. Like, they don't really care what we're selling. As long as they see sales and they see the revenue, matter. Like, they don't care, really. Yeah. And a lot of times they're like, I can't even believe it. Because some of the stuff we sell, they're just like, what? Microcord, like hundreds, thousands of dollars of microcord. Like, why? Like,
people buy
it. But people are buying it.
And stuff for selling on places like Amazon, more than you're going to just open. If you're going to open your own website for an ad product, it's going to be very hard to find that consumer. But the consumer, if I've seen this with the makeup, when I had the liquidation business years ago, I would have eBayers and Amazon sellers walking in every day, every morning, waiting for my containers to come, and they would know exactly when they're coming. They would call them. They would just come in and they would scan the items. Amazon, they would scan it. So you'd find those discontinued products that some brands would do. So Maybelline, mascara, pink color. Nobody buys a pink color. But guess what? The only one that wanted that pink color would search for it online. So they would buy it for me for $1 because I bought it for 55 cents and I wanted to get rid of it because just like that, people don't buy it. But they would come in and how many do you have? 20,000, give it all. And they would, a friend of mine, she sold it all for $13 a piece, right? And it was like, I think I sold her 20,000 units. And she, like this, within a week or two, bam. All those people who wanted that particular crazy color, and there are multiple crazy color, but that particular color, you can scan it, you can see. This is the ranking. This is what they're selling for. Give it all.
And I think that's the coolest thing about exactly what you're talking about with what we do is like we're never locked into one product, right? Yeah. Like we're never so. No matter what happens, if some product just goes off, we can sell it, right? If we get the right to do so, it's like we're never, especially when the pandemic hit, like we really started to see.
So does the whole like building out like an Amazon like storefront, like if there's no one genre of product, does it not matter at all? Like if you can just pivot products like that, if you can go from like toys to I don't know this.
Well,
like
you still have to you have to be ungated in these categories. You have to have still Lego. You can't sell Legos unless you have a right. The Legos has said yes, you can sell it. You can't, or Amazon will shut your store down.
Yeah,
a lot of these people who are trying to run this, they're not doing things the right way. You have to have the relationships with these people. They have to give you the green light to say, again, it was Boxycharm. You're not going to let somebody come sell your stuff. Are you crazy? Like you just wouldn't, right?
Like reselling boxes on it.
Yeah.
They were reselling them.
And you probably had somebody that's sending out cease and desist letters.
I mean, mine, I didn't own a brand.
I just found our products on eBay. So I just found patches on eBay.
Yeah, I mean, people, once you sell a product, if I sold you my product, okay, you have the right to do whatever you want with that. So when I technically sold you the box, you can do whatever the fuck you want with the box. And so the way we did this is you can only buy one box. You have to create a whole new email, everything.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I got you.
So you could have 2 or 3, and then some brands would say, hey, listen, I saw someone selling it. Yeah, but they had 5 boxes. They created 5 accounts, and there was just nothing. But ultimately, if you sell it, you lose the rights to go and complain. After that, here it is, my receipt. I bought it. It doesn't matter if it was full price.
Well, and the reason for us getting the warehouse and kind of starting to hire more, and because there's a huge opportunity in like the white private label space as well.
Yes,
where that's kind of where we see the opportunity to go, and again build a white private label brand, and ultimately if you get to the source and you figure it out, right? You can sell multiple stores, right? Multiple different brands and quick exits, right? Build them and get rid of them. Yeah.
Absolutely, I've seen brands that are just Amazon brands, and they build. We have a friend that has, I think he sells about 20 million a year makeup brand on Amazon. You would never know what it is. He just has about 15, 20 million a year just on that makeup brand.
Is that one store?
It's one store. Yeah,
impressive.
That's a brand.
Yeah, that's impressive. I would say we'll do 30 million this year between probably maybe more now that we have, and that's impressive between one store. You know what I mean?
Again, he's been doing it for like 100 years. Well, no, he's young.
That's what I'm saying.
But he's been doing it for a while, but it's makeup, so it's different. But I will tell you the difference between him and you is that when you do anything makeup related, it's kind of like challenging because supply chain is tough. Makeup takes a minute to manufacture, but what I would say is that it doesn't matter. Each one has its own business.
How do you find? Okay, so like I know there's tools that you can use to sort of search trending products and whatnot, but I feel like that's obviously not what you do. If you're hitting up trade shows, then you're like actually going to sellers.
You can figure out who's there before you go, right? So before we even go to a trade show, you can look at the list and see.
No, but if a product, so you probably have like a pretty good rate, like a win rate of what's going to actually.
I mean, there's just specific categories, right? Like like cosmetics is a great category. Home goods, toys, right? Anything baby related. Just kind of like getting into these different categories, and you're seeing the products, right? And so it's really it is. It comes down. Yeah, there is certain categories. Be honest, like we were in the sporting goods, we've been selling like knives. Like I don't know. I guess everybody's like
there's
really crazy.
There's a guy two guys I know from Israel that they ran this store on Facebook. I don't know if it's still on because at the time Facebook you could just sell anything, but they had a system. What they would do is they would have a way to find what are the trending products on.
That's what I was just saying. Yeah. So they have tools like that for Amazon. For sure.
Yes, they would have tools. So what they'll do is this. Okay, here they would have a couple stores, and they would have spiders that would find all the products that have nudges.
Yeah.
If it's running out, almost they would know. Okay, this is a trending product. Automatically, they would look for it in AliExpress because they would know that that's where they're buying it from.
Right.
They would say, okay, here's the price that it's in AliExpress. That's what they're selling it. This is going to be where we can beat them on Facebook, just a penny less, whatever it is. Create automatic an ad, boom, putting an ad set for it and start rolling this ad with a particular CAC. Everything was already systemized. So they'll sit down all day drinking beer down there in Tel Aviv and all that. And the store was running and they would do like 50 million a year.
Yeah.
They would do like 5% profit, but 50 million a year. I was like sitting down, like everything was systemized. They were developers. They were like, put out all the, but ultimately if you take a couple tools, they can find the right product that are trending. And on Amazon, it's easy because you can see the one that has the right ranking. So you can see the volume.
Of course,
the ranking gives you the volume over there. And then you can see, okay, I can get it for that price. How much can I sell it for? Let's buy more. And you can just tell the supplier, give me that amount. And
Do you have, when you first started speaking about like how like you were selling to consumers and then you started going B2B, I feel like a lot of brands go to Amazon before they talk to you. So do you have, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but I would assume a lot of people go to.
I mean, a lot of them don't even know how to.
I'm talking about like
brand on Amazon,
like scaling your business. Like, do you run into problems like that? Like, how have you sort of solved for the fact that your average consumer is trying to afford like a $40,000 to $60,000 price tag, like middle class, trying to start a store? Okay, so they maybe leverage a little bit of money, but ultimately it'd be an easier sale. I think we've spoken to this before. It'd be an easier sale if you just sold to businesses that wanted to move their brand onto Amazon.
Yeah, but we also tell them like, look, if on 40,000, 5 of it goes towards inventory. So you don't need to use anymore if you don't want to.
That's true.
So we don't ever encourage them to use their credit or anything to start purchasing more inventory until they've seen this business work, right? So we're like, we'll show you what we'll do with just $5,000 worth of inventory.
But if you have right now 300 new stores, will it still be the same volume that you can sell within just 1 month?
No, it's not. I mean, you can't. You gotta build a reputation and a history with Amazon, and like there's algorithms. It's really
but
weird.
You're gonna be able to if you had this month and you sold, say 5 stores, and then another month you did very good. You went on our podcast and everybody calls you. Even Bill Gates calls like, listen, man, it's tough now. No one's doing vaccine. I need to make more money. He's buying from you some stores, like 300 of them, 3,000 of them. Would you be able to go and scale those 300 or 3,000 the same way that you're able to scale the
you have a team
that you
have limits on how many you can roll up, no?
Yeah, and I think that's where it comes
Let's say that there was not a team limits. Is it an Amazon limit?
Yeah, because you still comes down to being able to find enough products. You know what I mean? And so it's like we also, we have a lot of room right now for growth. Okay. But there was a period where we kind of like didn't take stores for a while because we were like, we want to be able to grow internally before we grow externally, right? Like
Interesting.
It was a good thing that we did because I was like, we started to see like, wait a minute, we got to make sure we have enough products, enough relationships, enough SKUs, enough things to sell before, we go and try to sell. I think we're at the point now where we could probably take another 500 to 1,000 stores.
Oh, wow.
And
over a year, right? Over a month?
No, I would say probably over the next 12 to 18 months.
Okay.
And I would say at that point, like, I would probably be like good, I would probably not take anymore.
Well,
until we
my suggestion for you is,
and I don't even know if we would go that high, right? Like,
yeah, but I mean, you
I'm
don't
at
know.
the point now where I'm like, it just becomes more. It's more head count. Yeah, it's like
more hiring.
How okay, let's talk about your organization, because I think when you said that, you know, when your organization come to a limit in terms of running like chickens with our heads cut off, it basically shows a flat organization that need to be tiered a little bit.
I mean, I have some really, really good people that are involved. And I think, you know, I'll be honest, like I've got burnt in business, like in this business, right? And it got to the point where I was like trying to find the right people to partner with.
Yeah.
Kind of getting taken advantage of, you know, and it got to the point where I was like, I went back, I told my brother-in-law, I was like, bro, quit your job. I'm going to teach you what you need to learn. And this was like, this is my brother. I'm talking my brother-in-law. He's married to.
Your in-law, okay.
He's married. Yeah, he's married to, and Malachi was in school at the time. So I'm like, he's got to finish school, right? But I'm like, I got to come back to my family. Like the people I trust, the people that I know. This is before I thought we were ever going to be as where we are now. And so since I did that and got the right people involved, like I'll be honest, like Jake and Drew, Drew's just a great friend from growing up. Jake's my brother.
How many employees do you have right now? Not including warehouse.
We have.
Yeah, tell me administration.
We have 30 in-house now, and then we still have another. Well, we have about 40 now in Columbia still.
Okay, so take away customer service. I forget customer service, warehouse. We'll discuss later. Just administration.
We have 40. We have just under 40 right now.
Okay. And they're divided into, say, people who search for products and things like that.
Yeah, people, product research. We still do a lot of our product research is still overseas. We've gotten rid of a lot of people because we get better quality work over here, you know, and I have more control over here. I'm kind of a control freak. And so it's like, but we've found a couple people that are still in our office over there that are really good. No
one is going to get the energy when they're in another continent or somewhere else from the founder, right? It's never the same.
And so we had like 90 people over there, and we've like kind of like slowly gotten away and been hiring over here. But it's also hard to find the right person here that's willing to work for the price that the job is, and you know you got to earn it, right? When I tell all of our people that come on, like if you are put your nose to the grind, like I'm going to take care of you, you know? And that's why we have people that have been around with us for the last couple of years, just because they're, you know, so, but I do think it's like, it gets to the point where it's, I don't know if you're able to,
this stuff does
to take on more stores.
Jenna did say that your glass is always empty. So
she did. Yeah.
Helping your relationship here.
My girlfriend's giving me shit because she's like, Scott, it's a liquor podcast and your glass is always empty. I'm like, you drink too quick.
Yeah, Scott, listen, I mean, so we're going to have to ask now Zeke about his, so you don't drink with us alcohol?
No.
I brought the alcohol.
You did bring the alcohol.
I asked, was he Muslim? Why not? What's going on?
I love to drink, honestly. That's the problem. No.
We didn't even talk about your story, and your story is hella inspiring. You can go into whatever part you want, man.
No, I mean, I'll keep it light, but it's, you know, for me in my life, I love to party, I love to drink. I mean, like a lot. And it took me a couple DUIs, a couple times in jail to realize like, just bad shit happens when I drink. And so I kind of teeter-tottered with it a little bit when because I'm like, you know, I'm an entrepreneur, right? Like you go out, you have a drink, you meeting. And I just kind of like, I always drink probably one too many, right? And it wasn't that anything bad ever happened, but I would wake up feeling shitty. Like I would wake up low energy, wake up just not like foggy mind. And I just was at a point where I'm like, you know, I lost my dad in December. And so when that happened, I was like, he hated when I drank because I was wild, right? You know, my brothers over here can tell you, like I'm like, we're gonna party, right? Yeah. So I was like, I brought you some good, a good drink. You'll enjoy it. It's good Kentucky bourbon, right? But that's really it. For me, it's a personal choice. I have no judgment. I love to still go out and have a good time. I still will have no problem bringing a bottle for the boys. Ultimately, it's just I've seen better things happen in my life since I've stopped drinking.
You're smart for thinking that way, because ever since I moved down here too, it's like,
and it's easy to do it.
Easy down here. It is easy. I'll tell you right now, in Toronto, like 7 months out the year, you're in a house, like you can go out if you want to, but it's a mission to go out. You gotta go out. You know, it's not like you walk outside and there's like 25 restaurants, bars everywhere, and you gotta wear like 25 layers too, right? Here, it's like you can walk down. We're in Fort Lauderdale. You can walk down Las Olas. You hit any bar, any restaurant. Easy. Miami, there's an event from Monday to Friday. You have like Aoki on Monday. You have you have
every day
major DJs all week. You have like Tiesto on Wednesday. Yeah, I'm dating myself. I'm sure there's more relevant DJs now. But the point is, there's a lot of partying all the time. I mean, like you can go out to a restaurant and then go to a bar like any night in Miami. A networking event will be on yachts and clubs. Like it's nonstop.
Yeah, and you gotta pay.
This is one of the reasons I don't really travel as much anymore. I mean, people look at
You've been down here for how long?
I mean, living in Florida?
Yeah.
21 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finished the army in Israel. Stayed a little longer. Then I came down here. I was supposed to go and just do my I completed my high school examinations after the army. Then I came down here. I did my bachelor in business thinking I'll finish that, then go back. But then I started my first company, the liquidation business. And you know what? How do you leave something that does, it did good. So, you get married and everything else. And now you don't want to go back to Israel. It's like, I'm no longer, when I go back to Israel, I'm kind of like, I feel like Israeli who moved to America. I don't feel like Israeli over there. And over here, I'm feeling like Israeli who moved over. So it's a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. So you go to Mykonos, right? Like, it's nice and all, but I mean...
You can go to the beach down the street.
It's just a different topography or something, but it's all the same. Like, it's not another beach, like give me something completely different, maybe mountains. But it's not, nothing beats Miami.
No, but that's why you got to pace yourself down here, because you can totally party all the time. And if you're trying to build anything, it's tough enough. It's already tough enough.
Yeah, and I got married. I had a daughter. It slowed me down a lot, right? Yeah. And I purposely chose to buy a house up north. So I live in Parkland, so not too far north, but like.
You wanted to stay away.
Yeah, because I already know like how I am, right? Like, I mean, dude, if I'm like down here in the heart of it, like, why not? We still go to Miami all the time, but it's like I can go there, I can go out, I can go to dinner, I can have a good time, and I can go back home and I can sleep and not have to worry about like just people everywhere around.
Well, but it's actually interesting because all my many years over here, I never really went out. I started going out only when I had to take influencers out for Boxycharm. That's when I started experiencing Miami. I had no idea. They would come from LA and they're like, hey, we're going to go. And
these people really are influencers.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, shit, this is really fun. What the fuck was I doing all this time? It's like, I mean, I started going at the time, Baoli, and then you hear about Papi Steak. It's like, this is fucking what the hell, all those years? And it was so different because when I met my wife, my ex today, but at the time we're dating, and I had this relative of mine that was a bouncer. He was what do you call it? A guy that fill up the club with people.
Club promoter.
And I told her, oh yeah, my cousin, kind of like a cousin, not really a cousin, but his name is Manny. She's like, which Manny? The wine, the this, and she described, like, oh yeah, that's him. Like, oh, I hate him. He never let us see. And I was like, so I called me, you asshole, no, I'm dating a girl. She's like, tell her to come, I'll get her in. It's like, I had no idea about the club scene, how it is, because I was just busy making money. And here it is, you find out you don't have to fucking kill. All those motivational speakers, like, you gotta cry and here it is, you made it. You fucking made it without grinding like this. Like, I was actually eating rice and ketchup. And she's like, what the hell? I missed 20 years. Look at you.
Well, you're not eating rice and ketchup now, so.
No, so now you can live life, man. But no, that's very good. I mean, what you built now, it takes a lot of dedication. And I think that probably the reason why you're doing as well as you're doing right now is probably because you like set limits in your life. I mean, but you hit rock bottom in a very real way. Like, people talk about hitting rock bottom. I don't think anybody can hear your story and compare their rock bottom to your rock bottom. Like, multiple DUIs, arrest, jail.
Mine stems strictly from like mental health, right? So like I was molested when I was a kid, right? Which my whole life changed when I was molested.
How old?
I had just turned 10 years old, and it was by a man, right? And so for me, like, I was a big kid at 10. Kind of like I didn't tell anybody, and then I was really good at sports, right? So then it was like from the time I was like 12, 13, like I was already really good. I went to high school, I got recruited by everybody, but I like had this I didn't know how to deal with it, right? I didn't want to tell my mom, I froze up. It didn't happen to me.
Yeah.
And so like that kind of stemmed this like anxiety and this like just really stirred up the mental health in me, right? And like I never took care of that side of things, you know? And so I would drink to like not feel this shit or not think about this, or I would, you know, use drugs or women, like everything to like make me feel good and escape, right? And you know, I think part of the reason why I choose not to drink now is like I had every opportunity. If I would have just not made some of the decisions, I mean, I would be making hundreds of millions of dollars right now in the NFL. Like it's a no-brainer. We're seeing these NFL quarterbacks sign $280 million contracts to play football. I was a 5-star quarterback.
He was there.
It was Jameis Winston number 1. I was number 2. Jameis has been in the NFL for 8 years. Like it was a no-brainer. And even if I didn't, you know, I could have had a really average career and probably been a backup for like 10 years, you know, like I still would have made money. And so for me, I was like, this is the only way I'm going to make money was football.
How do you, but back to that point, before you keep going, how did you ever get over that?
Did you ever do processing with?
Yeah, so I moved to Florida. So let me back up a little bit. I got really bad for me to the point where I was like, screw football. I'm done with this. It's brought nothing but like chaos and just like negative publicity to me. Like I was always in the spotlight. I didn't handle it well. I had just gotten kicked out of Auburn basically for another DUI, right? Like they had no choice. The media was like, there was no choice. They had to let me go. To where I was dating a girl at Louisville who had passed away. I'm like, I can't go back to Louisville. It was just a lot of crazy shit was happening in my life. And I got like very soon, like I was ready to die. Like I was going to kill myself. And that's like the same night I was going to kill myself, I was literally going to drive back in the woods. And I was like, this is it for me. Like I was March 6, 2016. I was 22 years old, I think. And I was done. Like I was strung out on cocaine. I was drunk all the time, like had a really bad Xanax addiction from a prescription from a doctor because that was going to fix my anxiety issues. And it just was like this crazy, I was just in a fog. And literally the same night I was driving to go back in the woods and kill myself, I got pulled over. And like, I remember not really like knowing I was pulled over, but not really knowing what was going on. And I remember I woke up like 2 days later, I kind of like came to isolation jail cell. And I spent the next 364 days in jail. I watched my draft class in jail, you know, like a lot. It was kind of in there. I was like, what? I gotta figure out my life. Like I'm definitely not gonna be a jailbird. Like I'm, you know, my dad played 13 years in the NFL. I came from a good family. Like, you know, this isn't who I'm supposed to be, right? And so it was kind of in there that, one, I like kind of dove back into my faith and like really strengthened my faith and like kind of started to realize like there's things that I need to focus on personally, right? Like there's things
that all happened to you in jail.
Say what?
It all happened to you in jail.
When I realized all this, I got like I was sober, right? Like I got my mind cleared up and I'm like feeling all these emotions. I'm sitting in here with like dudes that are getting ready to go to prison for like 20 years, you know, like I'm just like I don't belong here. Like this is just not where I belong. But it was also in there that I realized like, you know what, no matter what is good, like I have no idea what the future holds. Like I didn't see anything, everything that was happening to me right now, I didn't see any of it. I was just like, I know that God has something more for me out there. Like there's a reason why I didn't kill myself that night. There's a reason why I'm in jail. And there's a reason why, like, there's no bond. Like, my dad would have bailed me out. Like, I had no bond. And I was facing 15 years in prison because I got caught with cocaine, possession of firearm, like, and it was just like another all in the media, right? Like, just a lot of guilt and shame and just remorse. And so when I got out of jail, I started speaking. I had like tons of people.
How did you get out of the 15 years? What happened? So I had to go to this like program in jail, and it was like it was a 9-month program that I had to basically, it's jail, but it's like a program in
like
jail.
Rehabilitation or what?
No, it was inmate ran. Like talk about like having an inmate tell you what to do, but it was like couldn't like if you know like you I had to get through this 9-month program in order for me to get out.
What do they do?
If I would have gotten in trouble, if I would have caught a charge in there, if I would have done it, it was nothing. It was just some chaotic, like military style, like just set you up for failure.
Was it a good thing? Or
it was really weird because it was in there that I just was so like myself in there. I was like, I don't really care. I don't know none of these people. I don't care what they think about me. Like, I'm not gonna act like put this front on like I'm this tough guy. Like, and people respected that, right? I'm a big dude. Nobody.
So that's like an AA technically, where you sit down and said, "My name is Joe, and I'm an addict," something like that.
Right, but it was like we were locked in a jail cell. Like it was still a jail cell. It was like you would go to a library for a group, and then you'd be back in your cell. Like, and it was just set you up for failure, right?
Yeah.
Like they wanted you not to get through it, but if you got through it, it would give you time off the end of your sentence.
Yeah, but not 15 years.
So, well, for me, it was like, look, if this dude can get through this shit, we'll see where he's at, because they didn't think I could get through it. They thought he,
Interesting.
And so I ended up going back from the judge, and he literally told me, he's like, look, you come back here and you'll serve every last second that you have on the shelf, which was like 3.5 years would have been the time I would have had to serve, right?
Okay.
So I was like, all right. So when I got out, I started speaking. I had tons of people reaching out to me because, again, I was
after prison.
Yeah, because like I was pretty like high profile, and so people were like, do you want to come tell your story, right? So I started traveling and speaking and sharing my story, but I still had and I spoke to over 300 different high schools, middle schools, universities all across the country over like a year and a half, almost 2 year span, and I was just speaking everywhere. I started making decent money doing it, but it became more like a job for me, right? I started in the beginning doing it because I felt like my story had purpose. It was to help a kid not make the same decisions, not have to feel the same way I did. If they went through what I went through at 9 years old, you can tell somebody. You don't have to wait till you're 23 and try to, self-medicate for many years. When
you speak to so many schools and children, you feel like it changes you because first you have to kind of like put yourself in the shoes of a role model, and then you also get to inspire yourself. And you said, I give a little bit more discipline than what I had yesterday because I just spoke and I have another engagement?
Like in the beginning, yes, but I felt like the ending of my story was so shitty at the time. Okay. I'm like, I went to jail and here I am telling you about it. Like, I was really good. I blew it all away and here I am. Like, I just felt like there was more for me, right? Mm-hmm. And I also was telling my story and like I'm continuing to almost remind myself of the shit that I went through without getting any help. I came to Florida to get help. I came down here and checked into a treatment center to get help for my mental health. Mm-hmm. I had no idea I was going to stay down here. And then when I got through that, I got a really good therapist. I started to
Why did you end up in Florida though? What was specifically special about Kentucky versus Florida?
It was going to be nice weather. I thought maybe that would be like, take a break. Go. I wanted to go somewhere for like 90 days and like really figure like I needed help, Like I didn't want to die, like I don't want to feel this way, like I have a great life. I didn't know where I was going to be, but I just knew I needed to figure out, because I felt like, I was just on the verge. Like I didn't see anything in the future. Right. And so that's what I did. And when I came down here, I was like, dude, I don't want to leave here. Right. Like, look at this place, Yeah. And so I chose to stay. And I was also like, you know what? I'm going to give this football thing a shot again. Like
good thing you didn't go to Seattle.
Right? That would have been really depressing, Well, it's funny because
people shoot themselves over there.
It's funny because I started training again. I got an opportunity to go play for the Indianapolis Colts. Mm-hmm. And I was up there for a little bit. I got cut, and the XFL actually had reached out to me. And
by the way, when I read his document, he said he joined the Colts, and I said, "You joined the Colt." That's what I understood. Football, because I don't know. Okay, go ahead.
But anyway, so then the XFL, which was like another organization, now The Rock actually.
Yeah, I know the XFL.
But Seattle was like, we want you to come out. We want you to come out and play for us. It was like $60,000 a year. I was like,
so what is XFL semi-pro?
They had shut down. They shut down the pandemic, and The Rock bought them, and now they're going to do it again. But I'm thankful I didn't do that. And for me, when I went back to play football, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I'm just going to, I want to put a helmet on my head and be like, I made it back, right? And
completely being ignorant, but isn't that true that NFL players die when they're 50? I mean, is it through the whole life expectancy? It's not really a thing.
I mean, I don't know. I think my
I heard that one time. I read it in Instagram memes. So
I don't disagree. I think that it's like, listen, any sport where you get smashed up for like years at a time,
violent.
Yeah, like you're I don't know if you die, but I'm sure like.
I mean,
dementia,
they claim that the life expectancy,
Alzheimer's.
The life expectancy for football players is 51 years old. Like
I'm sure rugby.
I would say you take
similar,
out the kickers, and the one that kick the ball doesn't have that problem.
I feel like nowadays they have better technology in the game, so there's like a little better equipment. But dude,
52 years old.
When my dad played, like when you see a helmet nowadays versus the helmets they wore then, like. And this is, I'm talking, these dudes, think about back in the day, they were wearing leather helmets. Like, but like even my dad's helmet, like it was just a shell. Like it was still not, nowadays, the technology is pretty crazy in it now, where now they don't, you hit with your head, you get a flag. Like they really are trying, but these dudes are still violent. They're getting paid millions of dollars to go out and put their life on the line. Like they're playing it at a high level. They're violent. So, I mean, I would say, I don't really want to know what, wrong with
I remember.
No, because you said it's a thing. You could have been hundreds of millions. I'm like, but you would enjoy it less time. So
you're right, and you know what? That's why maybe God had a bigger plan for me. Maybe it wasn't football, right? And I don't know. It didn't work out, but everything's worked out. I feel like the way it's supposed to.
So, do you feel like going out now is less and it helps your business? Because I still have to kind of like understand how people are making it while they're still partying, and I didn't party all those years. I want to know that it wasn't a mistake. Tell me, I'm kind of like okay.
No, I mean, to be honest with you saying that you didn't do that for many years and you just sold your company for X amount of dollars, like, dude, I look at that and I'm feeling like, honestly, in my person, some people can do it.
Yeah.
Some people can drink and wake up in the morning and just get shit done, and I mad respect for them people, but I can't, right? Yeah. And so I feel like from the successful,
I just couldn't enjoy. I just couldn't enjoy my.
From the successful people, I feel like if you ask them, do they do it? Like, there's no way. There's no way they're out. I mean, maybe after they've built that one.
I think that's a thing.
So
this
is
cool.
Now it's gonna be different.
Now it's different.
Well, I think
this is the issue I have. I have an issue with like Instagram entrepreneurs. I have a big issue with that. The people talk about like only lifestyle and all they're doing is events and partying and whatnot, and they're not putting.
That
in
is
work.
Their business.
That is
they
the
have
business.
to be there, otherwise they're irrelevant.
Yeah,
it is.
I mean, for some of them, I have a buddy that makes $200,000 to show up, and just throw a party at a bar. Like, okay.
Yeah, but that's not. We're not talking about like $200,000. We're not talking about $1 million. We're talking about how do you build like $50 million, $100 million business. And I think that it's an insane amount of effort and energy.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to be like, I know that there's all these motivational, quotes about this, but you have to like shut a lot of your life out to get to that level. Like shut a lot of the social out to get to that level. I don't think something happens by accident.
The phrase is an entrepreneur is sacrificing a couple of years of your life like no one would, so you can live the rest of your life like no one could.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the idea. But I mean, I have a friend that exit right around the same time I did, and a bigger exit. Mine was 500. He was 720, and he wasn't even 30 at that time. But check this out, he was partying the whole fucking time until the end. Then after that, when I thought you can party more than what you party now, then he was like going even more. He was just everywhere.
But how many? Okay, so how many? So what was his percentage on the cap table? I mean,
no. Pretty good. No.
Okay.
He's good. And I'm telling you that was the thing. Is
but
there's more than one way
what's
to skin
he feel like? You know what I mean? Like what?
His actually business wasn't that far from yours. He's a fulfillment center, and he sold for such a high multiples because during 2020. Everyone thought the world is moving online. Okay, the same company that made him the offer for 720, it was Summit Partners. In the beginning of the year, in January 2020, they offered him 120, and then they came back and they said we'll give you 720. Someone else offered him 900, but he declined the 900 because the percentage that they wanted to buy on a higher valuation, but. Just a smaller piece.
How did he go from 120 to 7? You said 120.
Oh, that was COVID. Everything
that was
online.
Cool.
Everything moved online. The valuations were like insane.
What was the valuation he got?
720.
No. The multiple.
Oh,
you know?
No, the company was doing like 120, 130 million a year. It wasn't that big. I mean, it was big. It was growing fast, but still they said, okay, that's going to be trillions of dollars, gazillions of. So they thought no one is going to buy anything in stores anymore. We're going to shut down all the stores in America. So,
But that's what
you
he took advantage. So he took advantage of right timing, right place too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what you, back to what
No,
you
but
said.
still,
It's
but
like
yeah, it was
knowing
but
the right
still,
time to exit.
Yeah,
Not being afraid to get out.
Exit at the right time is probably superior to entering at the right time.
Yeah.
It's superior. I mean, not that there's no value to enter at the right time, but exit at the right time, because when it drops, you have to sell when you don't have to sell.
Yeah, exactly.
And you need to know that when everyone tells you, oh, you're going to be so big, that is when you want to sell it.
Yeah.
Don't listen to that. Don't let the chatter in the room cloud you from. You said, listen, how can you say no for a couple $100 million? Who the fuck gonna say no when I was eating rice and ketchup a minute ago? You gotta take it and shut the fuck up. That's a crazy. Like, yeah, that was the idea. So it's like when you go out, and I remember that some people were saying, oh, you can go if it was public, billions and billions. I said, look, it was right here on the table. The money was already secured by the banks, from the buyers. How am I gonna say no? It's just I know that couple more weeks and I get the money. Why am I gonna wait a year more during COVID? Everything is going to fall apart. Like, it's just the correction is going to come in 2021.
What about you? Like, what do you think you're going to do?
I mean, we always said like at 100 million, that's what we wanted. We wanted to be doing $100 million.
You know what the multiple is on like a Amazon store as a service business?
I think we're at the point now where we've really started focusing on those relationships where there's a, if you have the right people in place, and I think somebody comes in and makes the right offer on it, but still.
Did you take investment bankers?
Say what?
Did you bring investment bankers to look into your business?
Have we?
Yeah.
No, we haven't done anything.
You're 100%?
Say what?
You're 100% owner right now?
Yeah. So we haven't done anything, and that's where it's like,
I'll give you $1 million for 50% of the business. Thank you so much.
So I mean, but we've just, and even like I'm telling you, like my brother-in-law, my sister works for me, my brother works, like, dude, we've just like, they quit. My sister was a teacher, she quit her job. My brother-in-law was making $250,000 a year, he quit his job. Like, and it's just been so fun to build it with my family.
Yeah.
And like, like I said, my dad passed away in December. It was terrible, but like to know that like my family's good, my mom's good, I'm taking care. We just bought another house down here. Like, we're good, you know what I mean? And so again, we do want to exit, and it's always a plan. It's always been a plan for us, but we're at that point where we're gonna double in revenue this year, and I think we're gonna double again the following year, maybe triple. Amazing. And so it's like we're right there where we're like more confident than we've ever been in this business, and so it's like we want to just run with the momentum that we have. Right now.
Do you know the size of your competitors? Do you have any indication?
I mean, you talked about like seeing these different Amazon stores acquired, right? I mean, they're getting acquired from multiple 7-8 figures just like every day, right and left. So
have you seen some? Do you know the numbers behind this?
You can go and look up some of these stores that are getting acquired. I mean, there's been 9-figure Amazon stores acquired, that are, and you go and you look at these, and it's
and what
just
is like what is it?
It may not even be in America, right?
What does
These
like a
may be,
9-figure Amazon store look like? What is that like a store I'd recognize now? Like
the majority of them are going to be a specific category, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So which
own
is
the space.
Yeah.
So there's like also
and then
like
a non-generic product. I'm assuming at that point, like something that's
It
like
doesn't have to be. It can be generic. If
Yeah.
it's
for 9 figures.
Because when you buy on Amazon, it's
Or just like a collection of products.
I think either or, if you can do the, I mean, it's so crazy.
It just blows my mind. Like
there's more people that are buying
$100 plus.
More people are buying
store.
on Amazon now than ever. Like we know that, and we're seeing that, based on just some of the softwares and things that we use. I mean, it's like crazy the amount of people. I mean, 300 million active users every day. Every single day, and that's like on the low side probably. And there's only 2 million sellers.
Look, I mean, it's a flea market by the end of the day. When you go to a flea market, you don't have to worry about location as much. It is, but it's not. It's just when you go outside of the flea market, you have to position your store in the right place. You have to make sure that there's enough parking and all that stuff. But when it's a flea market, everyone park their car and they're walking and they want to see everything because they're searching for deals. Mm-hmm. This is Amazon. Amazon is definitely that place, and it's not always about the brand over there, because a lot of the brands will sell the products, but if you want the product branded, it's not necessarily the spot yet. They're trying heavily to go into the beauty space, and they've been failing because of the cool factor. Yeah. Amazon haven't built a brand that's kind of like a brand builder. It's not a brand builder.
Do you notice any sort of correlation between a successful Amazon product and a successful D2C product? Like if somebody spins up a good Amazon store, would they take that, open up a Shopify store, run some ads, see similar success?
I feel like Shopify is more for if you're trying to go towards a brand or a specific category, right? Where you can really, you're trying to, Amazon, the best thing about it is you really don't have to drive any traffic. Like there's no, you can do PPCs and things like that.
But this is right. Like, have you tried, say, okay, this is your store, and you can take some of your inventory and
put it into Shopify.
And then when someone gets your product, said, look, if you come in from our store, something like that, first order 15%, whatever it is, if they're recurring members buying from you something, then you can keep their credit card, keep their email, keep all their information. And then eventually you can go and create your own brand behind this. But that's a long-term play, but you have to place the product inside, and you have to put
that's what you guys did with Boxycharm, wasn't it?
No.
No, didn't you have reoccurring though? Didn't they have, wasn't it like a membership or something?
Boxycharm is a monthly beauty subscription box. So I get and we never worked through Amazon. You had to come to my site. I had this because...
What did you use? Did you just straight your own website? You didn't use any...
You didn't use Shopify?
You didn't use Shopify or anything?
No, man. We did
and probably would have helped you.
It was multiple times. Like we changed our website platform.
Did you develop like a subscription platform yourself?
Yes and no. I mean, at the end when we sold it, we had a Magento Enterprise Edition. So it's a plugin. It was very customized. It was proprietary for us. Everything was made for us. It's kind of like I'm giving you a kind of like a platform to go and mush whatever you need over there, and that was it's all code. Then Shopify took off, and we're like, shit, we should have done Shopify, because Shopify, you can find developers for Shopify anywhere. You can find them.
And my God, like the subscription revenue plugins. You like go to the App Store. You download like I think it's Recharge is the one, or there's a million others. But like
everything
you put it in your
after.
store. It's so easy.
But I will explain. Once you go to subscription, because they were not built for subscription, you don't have all the perks you have right now when you just do regular Ecomm stuff. So when you do Ecomm, regular sales, you find you can go and pay Apple Pay. You have all those plugins. When you do your own subscription, none of those plugins you can do with Apple Pay. You can do Venmo. You can do any of those. So you have to create that. You have to build that up. And then, but the thing is, it's very hard to find a Magento developer that's good. Most developers don't want to touch Magento. Very easy to do Shopify. And that's it. But eventually we get what we needed. We were very, very creative, and we had our platform on it. But it was all about building on. In fact, we didn't even have developers until 2017, when we had 250,000 subscribers. We had a team building in the back end a new platform for us, and we launched it in 2018. That's how crazy it is. So we're by part a technology company, grossing $50 million a year, but we had one developer. And he was a very junior developer, and we were using something kind of like, it's a third party called, I forget their name. And it was really hard to work with them. It was not made for. It was made for subscriptions, but for small companies,
it's a huge barrier to entry. Like a really overcomplicated tech stack is a huge barrier. I mean, that's why Shopify did so well.
Yes.
For such a long time, right? Yeah. Because it just eliminates the barrier to entry.
They won that space. They have superior products.
And what are the competitors? Like ecommerce or whatever?
I think Shopify's still winning that space, because we're doing it right now. And like I said, we've started to do some white and private label brands and start to build brands, and we're toying with it, right? And it's like,
what are you toying with? What do you like?
So
private label brands or something?
So private label brands. We just got into the candle space, believe it or not, glass and candle, which was like
What does it cost you to make a candle?
We have there's two different sizes. One probably costs us about $7 to $8, and the bigger ones $10 to $11.
That's your cost.
Yeah, and we're selling them for $60 and $70, $50, $60, $70.
There's a lot of money in candles.
And then, they may be a little more expensive. They have a top, right? So it may end up maybe $15, and we're selling them for $50 minimum.
Yeah. It's definitely a business, because there are some brands obviously out there that are selling their candles, but if you like the scent and you like I have a lot of a good experience using candles in a box, kind of like as a one-off in a bigger boxes that we sold, and it was very successful.
You guys should talk more.
Yeah. We need some dinner.
Yeah, I know, for real.
Yeah, for sure.
No, but I have mad respect for you just because it's like, even to hear you like how you did it without like I was fully like they had to use Shopify, just thinking that's what it was.
So
like,
many.
You had to go through a lot of hurdles. Because I mean,
you see this missing hair over here. What do you think I have that? I was born with more hair. It wasn't just.
I mean,
we did mistakes.
So after my last company was just SaaS, right? So we have API integrations into Stripe, and like this company now, like we're just pure Shopify. Like wasn't even a question.
Yeah.
It was like
you know who uses Shopify? Fashion Nova.
Yeah.
2 billion a year, or whatever, billions.
Yeah.
Fashion Nova. Yeah. Boom. Like you don't have, you can modify so much within it, and it's just such a reliable platform that you don't have to go and reinvent everything that was already invented. It's definitely not necessary. Many times you find engineers coming in and they'll say, "Let me build everything from scratch," but you're gonna go through way more problems if you.
Yeah. And it's really easy.
And that's like a minimum $50,000 to $100,000 project too.
Easy.
Yeah,
if they didn't rip you off and they're actually being working for you per salary and they know what they're doing and they're half good, it cost us. Using Magento and the development, I would say millions.
Yeah.
Put it all together with everything else. And we needed that, right? Because there's nothing else for subscription at that capacity. It just did not, there's nothing else. At that enterprise, you need to do it, right? It took years to get to that kind of money that was spent on it. And it was never perfect. And there was always the part where things will fall apart. And just imagine when you go and you tell everyone, hey, listen, we're going to upgrade your box. We had that problem in 2018 when, I wouldn't say it's a problem. It depends how you see it. Might be a good thing, but they told them, look, we're going to go and we found out that our competitors are going to come up with a full size. So I was I wanted to take their clout and all this conversation and said, they're coming up with a $25 box. I'm going to go with a $50 box. So I can put stuff that are going to smoke their stuff. So anyway, because that was the full size products in their sample. So I get the wrong information. I thought they're going to start in September. So I said, I'll do it in September. So I went to my team. And I said, well, we have 2 months, 3 months to do it. This is how it's going to look like. We're going to go and do an upgrade subscription every 3 months. It's going to be quarterly. And that's what I left them with. I mean, when you work with developers, you have to give them schematics, everything. You have to, I didn't know. So everyone got excited. I put one post on Instagram and I went on this bunch of forums that the Charmers were creating. And we had 250,000 people. We had about 200,000 people clicking on the subscribe page. When we told them in September 1st, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, you'll be able to upgrade your box. 175,000 at 9 a.m. were already clicking the checkout.
Wow.
It was 30 million a
Who
year.
did
like
you have
this.
involved? Like what? You had influence?
Nothing. It was just going on my Instagram one time and going on a couple of pages that our subscribers created, fan pages, and I would always engage with them. That's it.
You want to talk about product market fit? That's product market fit.
Yeah, we showed them what they're gonna get. They were going, and then the site crashed. We only had 20,000 boxes to ship them. We didn't have 200,000. It's like I was trolled for 6 months by some girls. Like, you useless human being. I was clicking and it didn't work. 3 a.m. I woke up at 3 a.m. What the hell? It's like, and I'm clicking and go back to your country. You know what? You're useless. No, they don't even want you there because you can't even get a website running. It's like, it was so funny. After I was stressed out the first day. I was really stressed out, but it was stressful. Yeah. That was crazy. That was $30 million.
Wow.
Annual, like this, adding just one Instagram post. That's when you build a community, though. You got to build a community.
Wait, you said what did you say? 30 million? What?
Yeah, $30 million because it's recurring. I'm not taking your $50 one time.
The total lifetime value of the customer.
Oh,
that added us because you're subscribed and it's recurring revenue.
So it's counting that for how many years?
Well, no, that's 30. That's a year, right? So it's $30 million additional that added to us
because of the subscriptions.
You just one. So you basically do 130 million in that year. Well, the next year we did 260.
What was the subscription? Like
the base was it started 21 and then we upped it to $25. But then we added a $35 box and we had a quarterly for $50 and then we started doing flash sales. And the year when I sold the business, I wanted to make sure that I can show that I'm growing. So what I did was I launched at the end of 2019 because we're already getting all our bids in 2019. So really at the end of 2019, I launched a $35 box. And I started doing Ecomm sales. I did flash sales. So I did a little bit, like $2-3 million in 2019 because I started really small just as a proof of concept, kind of like get the gear right, running, get the site okay. And then 2020, because I doubled down, and instead of having say 100 SKUs that you're selling, I put 1,000.
Yeah.
Right. And then so we sold about $60 or $70 million in Ecomm, and then we had the $35 box that you buy in addition to the 25, and that was adding an addition. So we ended up going from say.
How did you get to cosmetics?
Like I had a liquidation company, and cosmetics. You know, this cosmetic category is doing good, right? So in 2012 we had a lot of requests from. Well, one that I noticed that caught my attention was from a company called Classy Box. It was a subscription box. And every Friday, I would sit down with all my salespeople and go over the sales and talking about this, kind of like all get smarter about how you sell. And one of the guys said, I got something for Classy Box. What's Classy Box? Subscription box. What's subscription box? You don't know? I'm like, no, I don't. What is it? So he told me what it is. It was already 2 years, a thing that was going to. So I looked at the space and I said, shit, I can do it better. And when I saw that they don't buy every time, they apparently buy from you and they get stuck when no one gives them free stuff. Like, why do they ask for free stuff? Like, that's your concept. And so wait, so they don't have economics where they can pay for the goods? I said, no. Well, what if I create economics instead of $10, whatever it is? I'll do it where I can pay for the products and then I can select what I want and I don't have to depend on anybody. Anyway, that's how it came up. I kind of like filled the gap. I was not a first mover. I was not a first mover. I was not even a second mover, but I was early adapter. But the difference between me and all the second, third, fourth, fifth movers, none of them really modify what the first mover did. They did the same. I was the first one to say, I'm going to create economics where the weight of the box is going to be under 2 pounds, and everything was modified so I can pay $10 for products. So I can always give them over $100 value consistently forever.
Right.
It would always be a phenomenal deal.
Yeah.
And I figure if I have a better product, I can win the war.
Yeah, you can.
And now coming in, knowing internet marketing, it's my passion. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to smoke those motherfuckers. That's how I came in, and that's what happened. And I had already a warehouse and I had office space. So I had the infrastructure to kick it off, and that's why we.
That's incredible.
I want to do one more entrepreneurial lesson from Zeke. Who fucked you over, and how did they fuck you over, and what did you learn from that?
I mean, I think...
Well, you don't have to name names.
No, it's not
address?
even that.
Address?
Right? Oh, I have some addresses.
Well, I think
his IG profile. We're gonna post this motherfucker. We're gonna put him on blast.
Put him on blast.
I think it's always, because it's like something that like I think everybody has one of these stories,
Yeah.
and I think it's a good story to go into because
I think it was
hopefully,
like, for me, I mean, I started making money quickly, right? And I'm like, if I don't invest it, I'm going to spend it, right? So I just made a lot of quick decisions that were very uneducated and just ultimately people that I trust. I trusted people way too, like in the beginning, you know, and it's one, we're in South Florida, like you got to watch your back.
you got to watch your back, man.
It's not in South Florida. Everyone are decent people over here. What are you talking about?
So I'm a
offended.
good Kentucky boy. Like we sleep with like our garage doors open, you know, like there's like down here. I'm like, so for me, I think it was just like I made money. I wanted to invest and just trying to get in too much shit, trying to be involved in too much instead of just focusing on like really building the one thing good I have and then put it, you know. So for me, it was just scammers. Like people are just grimy people that like just Ponzi.
You get your money back?
Bro. No, I mean, what do you do? What do you like? You know?
Either you chase the money back or you keep building, and you said, okay, that was
I mean, you know,
that was my immunization for my childhood disease. I need to learn better. Yeah,
exactly. So you know, you lose $1 million, and it's like, okay,
wow,
I can't
$1
do
million
this
bucks, huh?
That's a lot of money to me at the time. You know, it's like I can't. I
don't think he's saying it's not a lot of money. I think he's saying it's a
lot
lot
of
of money.
Yeah, it's like, you know, but I don't know.
By a scam, I mean, a scam of $1 million. Yeah,
you live, and you learn, and you know, it's ultimately it's made me better. It's made me, you know, really
smarter entrepreneur.
Just surround myself with people and move slower. You know, and
I mean, like life's long, right?
Yeah, exactly, right. So.
It's there's some people that what they do is they sell by your debt. I wouldn't mess with those people, but they'll say,
I don't know what this is.
Okay, so it happened to me when someone, it was 56 grand, it wasn't that much. And I called a friend of mine and I said, listen, someone give me, anyway, he kind of like he stole 56 grand. Now, at that time, that was everything I had in my bank account. And he said, I'll buy it for 30. So it clicked to me right away what he means, because I knew he's a serious businessman, but he has friends that can go and collect. So I told him, fuck, I lose 26 grand. It was like, I was thinking how much I'm going to lose, but I said,
So wait,
give me until tomorrow.
so what he's saying is he's going to
I'm
collect.
going to give you 30 grand,
and I'm going to
just
go
give
collect.
me his name, whatever information you have, and if I couldn't find him, I couldn't find him, but if I find him, I'll take with him. That's what he said, I'll buy the debt. I never thought about it. So
Interesting.
what happened was I called the guy that stole it from me, and I left him a message because he didn't pick up. Before that, I would call anytime he would. So I said, it's fine if you're not picking up. Don't worry, give me 24 hours. I don't know why I said that. It sounded threatening, but I had no... So he called me right away, and I told him, it's your decision, man. It's either I sell your debt to someone else, or you're going to give me the money tomorrow morning. You have until 9 a.m. And he gave me the money back.
Yeah, he doesn't know who
And
you're selling.
I didn't have to go, because I would have never done this, because I don't know if you want to deal with
Can you
those
give
people.
Zeke some of these people?
Can we
It's
turn the
$1 million.
recording button off?
Yeah.
No, but I think it's just ultimately, it's just like, you just got to, you want to be involved with good people. And I think that's the thing with this business is like, I've really tried to avoid getting other people involved or giving any of my equity away, really holding the full value of the business. And I'm glad that I have, because I've tried to do other businesses.
You get burned a few times, and you wise up. You just got to make sure that when you get burned, it's not so bad, right? But
so
This is where you said, like, no matter what, how many times people would warn you, how many books you're gonna read, nothing is better than true experience, because 100%. You don't embrace it until you
feel that,
go
man. You
through
feel when you
this,
get burnt. Everyone's been burnt. Everyone's been burnt before. Like I haven't lost $1 million, thank God, and I hopefully never will. But like when you get burnt by somebody, like you feel that. You don't forget that.
Never. I mean, usually, $1 million, I'm still in shock when you said and you moved on, but that shows.
We're working on it, but it's like, what do you,
It is what it is.
You're not gonna go supposedly I'm supposed to get the money back, but
yeah. You're not gonna go on the other side for that, because you have something else and you have that money, and it's, If
I sit and just like fret, like I just got to keep moving, there's money to be made.
Slow you down.
And ultimately it's like, I won't lose $1 million again. I tell you that much.
Hey, dude, what are you working on? Okay, so what are you working on now? What's next for you? Because even you were saying you want to not pivot, but like it's interesting. You want to find meaning.
Yeah, I think for me, I always said I wanted to get I want to write a book. I think my story is crazy. I think people need to hear it. I think even just from a level of, I think a lot of athletes need to hear it. I think a lot of just people who have been lost in life, have struggled in life, have had any type of adversity that they've gone through. It's motivation, right? And it's more about like personal development and growth. Like, you've made a lot of money. Like, I hope and aspire to make that, but it doesn't feel like it's not the answer, right? Like it doesn't fill anything, right? And so I thought when I started making money that was going to fill all my issues, right? And of course you want to make money. You want to make a lot of money so you can do all kinds of things and fun things, but it's not why I'm here, right? And so I want to pivot more into a space like where I can just provide value to people. I have a good following. My businesses aren't going to slow down if I change what's being done on social media, and it's not like I'm going to stop it. It's just more about thinking about some other ventures and avenues that I can get gratification from, because I get a lot of gratification and a lot of, I get a really good feeling from helping people and, being real with people, because you'd be surprised. Like I told you about being molested at 9 years old. You wouldn't believe the amount of men that have told me the same thing. Wow. Men that have never shared it with an NFL athletes, big time celebrities, people that have never, ever told a soul, and they have told me and trusted me with this. And it's like, that's insane to me, right? So I know that like if I've been affected in this way, like other people have been, and it's gotta affect them in their life, because until I really like started to like be like, I gotta do certain things, I gotta stop drinking, I gotta see a therapist, I gotta wake up in the morning, and before I do anything involving my business, I gotta like have my time to myself.
I gotta ask you a question about this. So, processing, right? Everyone has something in their life that they need processing for, because it's kind of a wound that you just leave open, right? And you need to heal it. So, you said you came down to Florida, and you get some help. Tell me about how you felt about this, kind of like before the processing and after, and what was really helping you? What do you think the catalyst that really helped you be more like waking up, not feeling that you need alcohol to stay away from this? What did they do? What did they say to help you with that? Was it just talking about this?
Like there was so much pressure on me from a young age, right? My dad played in the NFL. I was a really good athlete. There was like always eyes on us, right? There was always a little bit of extra added pressure on me, not to mention I was like pretty good at sports. So I had a lot of guilt and shame from like the failures as well that kind of stemmed into, again, these things that I dealt with as a young child, and then going to jail. And like I saw some shit in jail that would give you PTSD for the rest of your life. You know, I've like dudes getting their faces burnt off with oil, baby oil in the hot pot, like just crazy stuff, right? That like I needed to process that, right? I got out and started speaking, but like I come from a good family and a good home. I was sleeping with a child molester above my head, like the same dude that literally destroyed my life in a lot of ways, right? So there was like, when I got out, I kind of tried to like, I'm just going to forget about it. Like, I don't want to think about it because it was terrible. Like, can you imagine not having a handle on the door and being able to open it? Like, you're just locked in like a dog. Like, it was crazy. You know, that's just not how I was living. That's just how I lived. So I knew, like, because I was speaking and I was reminding myself, and like I started noticing, like I'm like feeling this more, like not in a negative way, right? Yeah. Like I haven't dealt with it. I'm telling you, right? I'm getting freedom from telling you, but I haven't actually processed it, right? I forgot, like I thought when I was 9 years old, I thought I was like 18 and I was supposed to be strong enough to like beat this man up, and like I was 9. Like, look at a 9-year-old kid now, like they're a baby. You know what I mean? Like that didn't deserve to happen to me, right? I blame myself for many years, but there was things in processing this where like I was drinking to black out, so I didn't think about this, right? Yeah. When I was younger.
So they tell them technically it wasn't your fault, and you had to kind of like get it out of your system by talking about this and understand that might have been the catalyst. And when you said, okay, that was not supposed to happen, you're not at fault. You kind of needed to hear it, even though consciously you know it, but subconsciously you needed to kind of process that. And
then, you know, again, it was like I drank and drug, like really to mask that. And then when the stuff with football happened, like, I mean, you know, you could Google my name and, you know, it's like you're going to see some negative articles from when I was an athlete, whether it's a mugshot or an article, like, here I am, you know, in 2012, Twitter just came out, you know what I mean? Like, this is when social media everything I read, I thought the whole world is seeing this, right? The whole world is that
fucks up.
I got home, I got out of jail, and I turned on ESPN, and it's like, freshman quarterback Zeke Pike arrested for public intoxication. My mugshot. I'm like, the whole world sees this. Like, I just didn't handle that well. Yeah. I really buried that.
Added up.
And it was just like, you know, and then I'm like, okay, well, women, like, I'm going to just use women, and like sex, that's going to like change it. And then if I'm going to drink, but it just all caught up to me, right? Like, again, it was never, it would work for the time being, and then I'd wake up and I'd be facing the same problems, right? So when I moved to Florida, I was like, I just want to deal with my problems. I'm done like trying to push them off because I hadn't dealt with them. Like, they just kept coming back.
Do you think men have issues?
What did they do?
Men have issues like talking about their problems a lot?
Yeah, of course.
How do you fix that? I don't know how to fix that.
Men hide it. It's known that women are much more open.
Women are like
we have certain ego that we don't want to be vulnerable.
Like architected, and I'm not gonna go into this as a very deep psychological issue, but or like how do men better address their problems so they don't deal with it for 10 years?
I mean, you know, the one thing for me that I've realized, and it was very, very hard to first open up and be vulnerable about some of the
When was the first time you told anybody about this?
I was 20 when I first went to jail, and I'm like sitting here like trying to figure out why, you know, and it really hit me when I realized why the dude above me. Like, they're talking about like getting this dude out of the cell, like he's a child molester, and I'm like, guys, like at this time, like people respected me in there. I'm like, chill, this ain't happening in here. This is my cell. Like we're having peace in here. Like I was in there for the point where like they respected me for whatever, and so I chose to like just let it. Like I'm gonna forgive this situation in my life, because if I keep holding on to it, like I'm just gonna be miserable about it. Like I hope.
So that was the first time you spoke about this, when you were 20 years old.
It was the first time I told my mom and dad.
So it took you over 12 years. 12 fucking years.
Do you feel it made it different after you spoke about this the first time?
Yeah, it was so freeing. It was so freeing for me because for a long time, I felt like people are going to judge me, right? Like, again, I really buried it to where I thought it didn't happen to me. And then it started to kind of get spiked back up when I was like probably 15 or 16. And you're like you're in high school, right? You know, there's all these, whatever, homosexual jokes or whatever. And it's like, I'm not, right? I know that, but like what I know this secret that happened to me that nobody else knows, you know what I mean? And it was like torturing to me, you know, and then like this fear of like, what if somebody finds out or knows or tells, or like how embarrassing that would be. And then I'm like supposed to be a 5-star All-American quarterback who's getting recruited. Like, wow, what would they think, right? Like, it was just like a lot.
You kept it in your head.
And it was more mental probably, where I probably should have just told somebody when it happened, right? But I was so scared. And again, I think it does have to do with being a man. And we as men, I think, tend to try to handle things inwardly, which in returns comes out. Like for me, like if I hold my emotions in, it may come out in like irritability, it may come out in frustration, like I may lash out and be short fused.
And it's all subconscious too.
Yeah.
Like you don't even realize half the time.
It's because I'm like bearing.
After you speak about this, do you feel like you don't have that problem anymore?
No, I do, but I work on it all the time. Like I still go see a therapist twice a month.
So being aware of the problem, being aware of why you behave like this, do you think it makes a difference? I think
it's being aware and like realizing there's no stigma against mental health.
Yes.
Like it is so prevalent in every household in America.
It's crazy that
it's there.
crazy that.
But
when you're dealing with it yourself,
there's a difference between each mental health.
Yeah, it is. But it's
some traumatic.
What I struggle with is not the same thing. I mean, you know, my sister's very open about it. My sister had an eating disorder, right? She suffered in a completely different way, which was from, you know, a relationship that she had that was very, you know, verbally abusive, that made her, my sister's been skinny her whole life, right? She thought she was 250 pounds. She wasn't. She had an eating disorder, right? You think she's the only girl that suffered from this? Like, that's mental health, right?
Yeah.
Depression, not being, like, I have depression and anxiety. I have, you know, I work on it and I do the things that are necessary, just like before a game when I go and stretch before the game. So I do the same thing every day in the morning to try to get my mind woken up and prepared for whatever the tasks may be. But there's so many people that are struggling with it. And yes, it could be very severe mental illness. And when we see all these negative shootings and tragedies in the news, and they always want to go towards like, oh, he's psycho, he's mentally ill. But like, that's next level, right? I'm talking about people that are just struggling with like the difficulties of life, and it becomes stress that turns into anxiety and depression and helps them not want to get out of bed. And then we see suicide rate at like an all-time high, right? Yeah. These are good people, right? That just, they lose it. Yeah. You know, and the world's stimulated, dude. We're surrounded by stimulation. Like it's a scary place to be alone. And I feel like, you know, me speaking up, it just encourages other men to speak up. And I've seen, like, for me, I've seen some really high profile people that I've opened up to, that have opened up back to me. And I'm like, I never would have thought that this person who's living this incredible life that in my opinion is like really, you know, and they went through something, you know, the same or similar. It's like,
that's why that happens. You know, but that's the thing. Like, so it's like almost like the lesson is like, if you have a story, it's, yeah, for sure. There's the fact that if you sort of talk about that to somebody else, is going to help you in your life, but it's going to have like a butterfly effect too.
Yeah, and I think
you're going to help 1,000 other people through hearing your story.
Yeah.
That they can now open up and they can talk about all the experiences they have.
And bro, men need good men. Like men need good men. Like there's too many fakes, there's too many phonies, like there's too many people there's unloyalty, there's mistrust, there's just, you know, it's like you need good men who can be vulnerable, hold you accountable. And that's why, like, I don't hang out with everybody, right? Like, I keep my circle very small because I need people to hold me accountable, right? I don't want yes men around me, right? Like, I need good people in my life, you know, that understand who I am. I can be real with, like, yo, if I wake up, like, I don't want to put this front on, like, I'm having a great day. Like, yo, I feel like shit today.
Yeah.
I'm not having a good day. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it's all about. You can't just go and, be with me doing everything, not just doing the fun part. And yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is very good because this is where you said yourself, like, I think men are less open. I mean, it's just we have tons of ego that women don't have. I think women are more mature intellect. They have some sort of intellect that men don't have. And we have a lot of fear and phobia that we don't get to spread it around. And it's about our weaknesses. Our weaknesses is just a big challenge. Yes, it's what do you say to someone that kind of like have a trauma, whatever type? Like, how do you tell them, look, if you don't want to talk about this, do this?
I mean, you don't have to talk about it though, right? Like, I choose to talk about it because I feel like I have a platform, right? So like, I'm not afraid to talk about it. And I hope somebody's encouraged, like, because I'm sure a lot of people can look at my life from the outside and think, oh, I have it all together and, you know, my life's perfect. But if I'm real about it, maybe somebody else will be real about it as well. You know, I feel like just opening up and being honest is a choice. You don't have to be vulnerable about it, but going and getting help in silence is not, you don't have to be loud about it, right? Like, you don't have to tell people you have, you know, mental illness or depression or anxiety. Like, maybe, you know, like I don't feel shame behind it because this is who I am. I know other people are struggling. I'll be a voice for it, but I'm sure other people probably are like, there is a stigma that needs to be smashed and they're afraid to talk about it or say it, but you don't have to. Like, just go get help. Go see a therapist. Go talk to somebody. Like, I love going to see a therapist because I see them for that 1 hour and I don't give a shit what they think about me. Like, I don't care. I say off the wall stuff in there, like really crazy stuff that my head is thinking. And I don't really care what he thinks about me, right? Like, I'm paying him to listen to my shit, so he's gonna listen to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So it's like, you don't have to be loud about it or get on podcasts and talk about it or get on your social media and talk about it. But go
get that,
if you
get
know
that
it's
shit
something,
out of your head.
if you know
get
it's
that
something that
you're
feeling. Just, you got to go see somebody. And if you don't know what to do, get on Google and type in therapist near me and you're going to find somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and maybe it may not be, you get pointed in the right direction, right?
It helps. I mean, I spoke to a therapist the first time when my ex and I went through a marriage counselor, and then they do one-on-one because they want you to feel 100%. And they usually try to kind of like peel the onion layers, right? They peel the layers to find out what's inside. And I remember when I spoke to my therapist, and she kind of like found something in my past that I never really thought it was a problem. And she told me, oh, that's an issue.
Yeah.
You got to talk about this. Now, at that time, I really thought she's trying to cash out.
Run up those hours.
She wants me to keep coming over here. I'm feeling fine. But then eventually, before I left, I said, wait a minute. There's one more thing I didn't tell you. And then it continued to lots of conversations that I keep telling myself that maybe I should keep going back there. But it's like you'll never know. I think everyone needs that type of processing for things that you might not think are significant.
And remove the stigma. It's not weak.
Yes.
It's not less than. It's just open the fuck up.
And even like seeing a therapist, like, you don't even have to be like, have any issues, right? Like, sometimes it's just like having that other person to talk to 100%. About even relationships, right? Like, marriages are hard, relationships are hard. I'm married, you're in a relationship, you're coming out of a relationship. Like, that shit's hard. It's not easy, you know, and just life ain't easy. So it's like, whether it be your business, just having somebody else who can be a second voice of opinion to kind of call you on your bullshit, challenge you to think about things that maybe you wouldn't think about, you know? And so I get I have my therapist will challenge me a lot, and I'll be like, thought about that, but I'll start thinking about it because he said it, right? So I get benefit from that, and
it helps you be a better man sometimes. I mean, they can go and tell you a couple things that's like, wow. Yeah, if you do it, that's what the other person thinks. It's just you need that kind of like put you in the right lane on certain things, kind of like see how everyone else feel when you do certain things, and it really makes you be a better person on both sides.
Right.
It's really good.
All right, what else we got? We went through everything, man. We went through your past. We went through Amazon.
We went through Pelosi.
Went through Pelosi.
That was good, man. That was awesome. That was really, really good. And I think that's
so any closing thoughts to like close this out? What do you want to do? What do you want to close this out with, man?
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Yeah.
In 10 years, I see myself having a nice house like you, exiting my business for $500 million, and
let's go.
Being so bored,
I don't know what
that I call Scott and say, "Hey, I need something to do. Let's start a podcast."
I love it.
That's what I
love
need.
it.
Are you gonna have alcohol from now to the next 10 years? You think you're gonna?
I mean, here's the thing. I don't think 10 years down the road. I literally just think about today, right? Like, I just don't do it today. And here's the thing. I told Scott, I'm like, look, if I exit my business for $500 million, like, I may have a glass of Four Roses and celebrate, but like, I just don't ever.
We're gonna be with you.
Yeah. But I just, for now, I take it one day at a time, and I want to get to the point where you're at, where it's like, that's the goal, right? Build something, exit it, and ultimately like take care of my family forever and ever and ever and ever.
Amen.
That's what my dad
Amen.
trusted me with.
Amen.
So
Yeah, this is good. I mean, listen, this is awesome. I think that was something that's gonna definitely help a lot of people. And thank you for coming.
yeah, thanks for having me.
It was amazing. We're gonna go grab dinner. You guys are invited. It's a bit too late because we're gonna be leaving the restaurant by that time. But where are we going?
Noodles panini.
Noodles panini.
It's the best
Fort
Italian
Lauderdale.
food on Las
Scott's
Olas.
picky, so
Oh,
Scott's
it's good.
very picky.
Okay,
so
the
it must be
focaccia
good.
is like baked in with cheese. Like you don't even understand. It's the best.
I'm like, Scott, let's go eat here. He's like, okay, no, actually, we're gonna go here because have this menu and it's great. I love it.
No. I know my food. I am a fat ass.
He's good. He's good. Yeah, world food is over here. Next time we can also do some steaks. Shout out to Papi Steak and Komodo, my friends.
Yes.
From Papi Steak and Komodo. Right, anything Dave Gratman's business is going to be promoted
Dave, we're
on
coming
this show.
in. We want a
Dave,
suitcase.
I want to cut the line in front of everybody. And I don't want to be nice. So.
We want the suitcase on the house.
Oh, by the way, when you go to Papi Steak, trust me, there is a better steak than the suitcase steak. We're going to go. Okay, I want you to go and show Valentina what is the suitcase. Find one of those, okay? There's a better steak. If you guys want to know a better cut, it's going to be the rib cup. It's a much smaller. It's a little bit cheaper. But once you eat it, it will change your life. You can say, my life was and after this steak is Okay, so you guys got to go to Papi Steak and get the rib cup Wagyu. Your life will change and you will thank me forever. Rib cup Wagyu.
Did you get the pastrami?
Pastrami's delicious.
The pastrami's
Listen,
good.
but that's an appetizer.
delicious.
The
Yeah.
pastrami Wagyu, if you don't
You
need
need
it,
like 4 of them.
Yeah, you
yes.
do.
If you get to Papi Steak and you don't get
The
that,
smoke doesn't fill me up.
Yeah, no.
you need to be arrested or deported. Even you born in America, it doesn't matter. You need to have that steak. That is fucking
so
amazing
good.
steak. Yeah, yeah. And when you go to Komodo, everyone goes for the duck, and I absolutely love the duck. But listen, the hidden gem is the short ribs, the beef short ribs.
That's what I had last
That's
time.
what we had last time we
Oh
went
my
down.
God,
That was
how
good.
Yeah.
was that? That was like melt in your mouth. You don't need a knife. You don't even need, like, you look at it and it breaks.
Can we get
But
this
just look-
podcast? We should get it catered. We should get this
Yeah.
podcast catered.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, like the whole point of like the liquor
Dave,
part.
Grutman,
is like,
Grutman.
Grutman, let's go.
Gradman, what's up?
I've seen him do it before. I've seen him. I think he.
We're gonna have him on here for sure. We'll have him on here for sure.
You know what? He does get catered to his house. You kind of like ask yourself, okay, what does Gratman does?
What does he eat?
Okay, so I've.
What-
if
where
you
does
look
he
at
go
his
to
stories-
eat at?
Okay, so if you look at his stories for Shabbat dinner, you know who he catered the food from? Motek Cafe.
Motek?
Yes, it's an Israeli place. Bear in mind, it's not even a kosher place, but it is kosher in terms of the food that's there. They
Yeah,
just
yeah.
opened on Saturday, which makes it not kosher. But this is fucking phenomenal food. They elevated all the Israeli food in South Florida forever. They smoked whatever was before.
I've never been there before.
Fucking phenomenal. I'll
It's
take you over
in
there.
South Florida.
Yes, there are two
Really?
Oh,
places.
they
Israeli
put a
food.
location in South Florida.
Yeah. I'll bring you guys over. You guys gonna love it. It's phenomenal. And any other place that opened after match that quality because that's it. It just raised. It's you know what? Talking business now. We'll go back. We didn't finish. We have more to talk. I feel that when a business grows, there are two types of growth for businesses. One can decline your business. One can actually excel your business. And it's really coming down to how you pick the people. If your mind is, I want to bring a person that's better than the current people that I have, everyone else is going to get better and the weak ones are going to churn. If you just bring more people because you need to bring more people and you staff it poorly, and your managers and your all the directors and above are not technical enough to know who's a good person, they'll bring below average, and then what you have is more organizational that's kind of like bureaucratical. And that's when it starts sinking down. It really comes down that if the people on top are A players, they would hire A's. If they're B's, they'll hire C's. And that is when it shifts because a B always have one problem. They're always worried about their kind of like survival in their organization. So a B and an A are a threat. So they choose the C. And that's where you see some companies growing and you said, what happened? It used to be better before. Oh, when you grow, like, no, it's not. You have to make sure that you're going to have nothing but A players. Don't compromise on that. Get the A players because they'll hire A's and better A's than what they've seen before.
You know, another
and it helps.
point about that is when you do hire an A player, it's going to be uncomfortable.
That's good.
Because it's not going to be somebody who listens to
Yeah,
everything you're doing. It's going to be
exactly.
somebody who's going to
It's
challenge you on
challenge you.
every fucking
Yeah.
idea you have.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's going to be fucking uncomfortable. I've hired A players in my company right now, and it's uncomfortable as fuck, but I let them do their thing because they're killing it.
That's awesome.
But it
That's
is
good
the
shit.
person. If somebody is too easy
Yep.
to deal with, they're not an A player.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because why the fuck would you hire somebody that doesn't have their own ideas?
Right. 100%. That's good.
Yep.
That's good.
I guess
All right.
we're gonna go grab dinner.
Let's get some food. All right, brother.
Awesome.
Thank you, man.
Awesome.
Thank you. That was good. Glad you guys. How's the Four Roses? Are you guys feeling it yet?
100%. That is.
Oh God.